what's been going on in the ankylosing spondylitis world the last week? Well, since I put the story up of someone saying they had a reaction from one of the vaccines with his rheumatoid arthritis, I then put it out on my story to say anyone else had this issue at all. And it turns out I've had a fair few messages, which I'll be sharing on my story this week. And also, I have actually spoken to a fair few people over the months. And well, every client I've spoken to, all the clients I've spoken to, I have seen a fair few cases where they have, in fact, either had their joint pain increased or like worsened, or they never had AS in the first place or any arthritic issues in the first place. They get the vaccine, in most cases the COVID vaccine, and they seem to notice a increase in symptoms or the onset. I was literally chatting to a client this morning who's got UC, ulcerative colitis, and ankylosing spondylitis, and he just said to me, I saw your story last week, and I just wanted to say, I also only had UC, and then I had the COVID jab, and I started to get all the AS symptoms, pains all around into his elbow, big one into his knee, obviously the AS symptoms in the spine. Yeah, he had a full onset of ankylosing spondylitis following the jab, and he's still got the disease. Also, his mum had the same jab, obviously at the same time, and she started to have rheumatoid arthritis symptoms. So more fingers she was having like big issues with. Luckily that tailed off for her and she didn't get any more jabs, but my client's obviously struggling with AS and UC. We've got on top of the AS just on that note so far, but he told me he's also had that case. So why does this actually happen? Dave O'Brien, he has actually put out a lot of information on this, and I wanted to read this one out to you. So it's the recombinant spike protein products generated by the mRNA vaccines can remain in circulation for up to 187 days. So the spike protein can remain a little over half a year, originally estimated to be just a few weeks. COVID antigens, the spike protein, were shown to hang around within the blood for up to 14 months after infection. Spike protein inoculation in mice resulted in a reduction in Paneth cell area in intestinal crypts, significant decrease in crypt depth as well, basically impairing the gut lining renewal, weakening the gut barrier. So there is data out there that is showing that these vaccines and the COVID vaccines can have the spike protein sticking around for a long time, and it's been shown to actually cause damage to Paneth cells. And as I talked about before, and as I've learned from Dave, the Paneth cell is possibly the most crucial cell when we're trying to tackle the bacterial issues that you'll have. And keeping everything in check, if these aren't working properly, you're much more likely to have these bacterial issues, and these are heavily linked to AS. And it seems to be when you can get on top of these issues, the AS reduces as well. So certainly a big part, and it might be explaining why people see their jabs, when they have these jabs, obviously quite nasty symptoms or diseases can kick in. I had another client who had his biologic start, well, it was working and then it failed at that exact day that he had the jab, pretty much soon after he was getting AS pains again, and obviously panicking, thinking, right, what am I going to do now? So yes, I'm going to put more posts or information or messages I've been receiving from people over the next few weeks. Obviously try not to get myself shadow banned here, but I'm just trying to share information so people can make better choices or maybe have explanations for the issues they're facing. So that was number one that I wanted to talk about. We started off with the big stuff. Also, a few things with clients and noticing is, obviously I'll set the exact supplements for them to follow and the brands and the dosages and everything, but they may, as they should quite rightly, go and look for cheaper options or find other options, and every right to do that. And people will come back to me, say a supplement, and I might say, actually, yeah, that looks fine. Let's go with that one, even though it's not the preferred one. But when I see clients or people that just go, the cheapest they can find, Amazon for curcumin or Amazon for saffron or lactoferrin, whatever it may be, just cheapest one, buy it. Load of good reviews. Are they real reviews, or do these people even know? Like, how can anyone know if this one thing has helped them or not? It could be placebo. So the reviews don't help, but then they'll take it. And again, if you look, there's a lot of data that's showing that most of these supplements, the cheap ones, basically have nothing in that you're buying, or very little, or just very poor quality. And you have to ask, if the real good thing costs this much as a fair price, as you'll see, but then you find one for half the price on Amazon, do you think that they're just like taking a huge loss here to give you this product, or to loss leader? But it's probably not. It's not regulated at all. They can sell whatever they want and call it whatever they want, and you'll end up buying it, and you're trying to save money, but in the end you end up just spending more money because you've wasted money on on a thing that you don't want. Better off spending money on the right products. I look at the Collective Supplement Co., so Dave O'Brien's company. Thorn I use quite a lot. Doctor's Best, Now Foods, but depends on the brand as well and what you're looking for. So always try to go for the best that you can afford, obviously, and it's probably worth spending less money, getting less supplements, but getting the better brands and the trusted brands and the ones that have been shown to actually work, and independent testing as well. Getting less supplements, but the good ones, than you are trying to get as many as you can, just get them super cheap, because you probably end up getting nothing in that case. So supplement quality, very important. Another one, a younger client in his early 20s, 21, 22, going back to uni, and just started all this work trying to follow an AS diet, or just following any diet, but obviously the diet that we look at with mostly gut repair, gut microbiome changes. Him trying to follow it at uni just had me thinking how glad I am that my symptoms managed to hang on till just after uni for me when I was 21. It would be very tricky to think how I could implement this diet, or just the extra things to think about. I mean, maybe I'd have got on top of the disease quicker. Again, ideally, I'd rather find out when I was 15, so I have to do all this 10, 15 years earlier. But yeah, for the benefits of just enjoying your teenagers and younger years, I'll take that. What I would say to someone like that who is maybe at uni or just in a situation where it's just so hard to follow a diet, is I'd say, can you follow a supplementation protocol? Can you follow certain supplements that definitely help? Do that anyway. But then to get the benefits of the diet work, I would just say it might seem like a lot at first, like to change this whole diet, but you'll notice that, and especially at uni when you probably haven't got the biggest budget, most people don't, like you go into the supermarket and buying 95% of your foods and eating them in, and it's not a case of spend more money, it's just a case of let's just spend the same amount of money on better quality foods, which is easy to do. White rice, 20% fat beef mince, some basic vegetables, some courgette, some aubergine, some swede, some carrots, some turnips. Like it's super, super cheap. Some fresh herbs. Like it's very cheap. It's more of the shift of what you're doing at uni and your mindset, and can you stay away from naughty foods and alcohol. There's a lot more I know that goes into it, but 90 to 95% of the time it's just you eating the food that you've made. So once you've made the shift, you'll then realize it's just habit, and you can do it. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. But I understand the 5-10% of being perfect might be tricky at uni. Next, and last thing I wanted to talk about, kind of as a bigger point. So just had a client who was having pretty nasty reactions with his psoriatic arthritis when we first started the gut repair phase of our gut protocol, which you wouldn't want to see too many reactions in this phase because this isn't the antimicrobial phase. But what it does show, as I'm seeing with more people in this gut repair phase, when they have lots of symptoms and die-off reactions, there's probably a hell of a lot going on bacteria-wise within the gut. Lots of co-infection, multi-layered bacterial issues. So not just one problem or one bacteria or one parasite or just a little bit of SIBO. There's a lot of things going on at the same time. And there's a lot of endotoxins being released when we kill off the bacteria or do any sort of changes. And you think some people, when they've gone from horrendous diet, lots of alcohol, no supplements, lifestyle all over the place, not sleeping very well, stressed, you change so much, like so much has changed very early. Even though it's repair, you're going to have there's just turmoil in a good way within your microbiome of just complete change that it's almost not a surprise that you'd see this level of reaction. Maybe for someone who's dieted more, they wouldn't see and like had a more solid lifestyle before they go into this. There's not as much of a shift, even though there might still be, as I'm seeing. Yeah, there can be a lot of reactions, but he has actually settled down recently and he's feeling much better playing tennis again. Just came to note of that case. What else I wanted to talk about? Yeah, so wanted to mention about him and how obviously when this does happen for other people, or if you're even following one of my blueprints or doing anything and you notice that you actually have some more symptoms or even die-off reactions early days when you're not even trying to tackle too many bacterial problems, which, by the way, some of these supplements, even though they're not antimicrobials, they can still be antimicrobial in some nature, like curcumin can be, lactoferrin can bind to negative gram bacteria, zinc alcarnosine good around negative gram bacterial strains. There's some supplements there that, although they're angled at repair, they can cause these bacterial shifts that can cause die-off. This thing, can you hang on is the main thing. Like, are the reactions that bad? Are they too bad where, like, obviously we can't go about daily life and it's just too hard to follow? There's many things we can look at, like adaptations to the protocol and bringing certain supplements down that might be causing too many problems, and then bringing more support supplements up that we need to help with the clear out. There's lots we can do to look at this, but yeah, I'm seeing this more often. I wasn't that case where the repair phases I have any issues or had any issues when I was first starting. It was more antimicrobial work for me, but I think I was more on it than most people that I work with, perhaps. Like, I was already on quite a lot of diet and tried a lot of things, whereas some people come to me completely fresh and it's like, whoa, reactions, like straight away. But it's a good sign. It's a good sign that things are working. Might not feel good. You may have symptoms improved in one area, like can actually be like the joint pain that can actually go down, or certain parts of the joint pain can go down that you've never seen before. But then we get the new symptoms that like tiredness, fatigue, sickness, all sorts of symptoms, and then obviously even flares of the actual disease can happen. It's not to scare anyone here, but it's a sign that we're on to something, and can we fight through whilst making the changes that we need and putting all of the support in place to help the clear out and help the die off. That's what we do. So that's everything that's been happening this week in Alex Savvy's AS world. Might make this video again next week. Speak to you very soon.